Welcome to Hidden Space. I'm Serge Green, and in this video, you'll see the complete workflow for creating a cinematic video advertisement using Runway, Midjourney, and Adobe Soft. If you haven't seen this AD yet, go check it out now or stick around. The final version will be at the end. To create a high quality and, most importantly, functional AD, we need to clearly understand our goals, answer key questions, and build a clear plan of action. Let's start with the narrative structure. I used a classic 3-act structure for the script: exposition, introducing the world and characters; escalation, the problem comes up; resolution, victory, problem solved. We also shouldn't forget that we're creating an AD, so we need to expand our structure with marketing principles in mind. The AIDA model works perfectly here. A. Attention. I. Interest. D. Desire. A. Action. Now, our internal story structure will also include an outro with a clear call to action and an intro, considering the importance of capturing attention in the first few seconds. We'll also apply this model within each of the 3 acts. This means that during the exposition, we prepare the viewer's attention for the upcoming problem and lead them toward the solution, which is the service or product. In the end, we need to leave a clear, simple message, encouraging actions like subscribing to the channel or visiting the website. This is part of the external sales funnel that leads to the first point of contact. Our AD runs at the dynamic 30 seconds. It sounds like a challenge, but it's not all. Let's take a closer look at what function our video should complete. In my case, it's to increase brand awareness, but it could also be direct product sales or an explainer video, which is a common market request. The next question is, where will the video be placed? It could be Twitter, a website, part of a marketing campaign, targeted ADS, or YouTube. This will decide how we adjust the visuals and story to fit the platform. What about optimization and proportions? What format do we need? In our case, it's a horizontal 16:9 video. It could also be vertical 9:16. Even better, when creating, we should plan the composition so we can split the horizontal format into 3 parts, cut the necessary section, and turn it into a YouTube Shorts video, for example. This will save the client money on production and make the video more flexible for sharing across different social platforms. We've done a lot of work in understanding the task, but we still don't know how the video should look or what emotion it should deliver. We could jump into the creative process, but that would be a mistake. It's time for a bit of brand research. Meet Path. It's the brand we need to get to know. The best way to do that is by looking through the brand book. Besides the basics like colors, fonts, and how to use the logo and other brand marks, we'll also learn how to present the visuals in the right context. This will help us understand the brand's mission, connect with the founder's vision, and get a feel for the tone and vibe of the product. That way, we can build on the idea the company wants to share. We also need to explore the website to see how the brand presents itself, not just on paper, but in the real social space. This will help us make notes for the future mood board and storyboard. Even at this stage, we can start coming up with initial visual concepts. The next step was reviewing Instagram. It's full of visual storytelling, which allowed me to understand how the mood, design, and style have changed over time. I could also check out what content already exists and how it looks. This gave me insight into how designers, marketers, and social media managers use the brand book and other materials. It's also important to read through the comments to better understand the target audience, their lifestyle, what they like, and what they respond to. I'll also analyze the existing content to figure out the strategy, whether to bring a fresh perspective within the brand style or continue the current trend. Now let's complete the picture with a variety of product photos, and we're ready to create a mood board based on everything we've seen and learned. This is our unique take on the brand. what really attracted our attention and resonated with us. A mood board is a valuable tool, and it's great to have. It helps us keep a consistent style when creating images, videos, sound design, adding motion graphics, and even when picking music and voice for the narrative. The next step is building the concept. I love to use a simple and effective technique, creating a small tag cloud, an associative list after research. Write down everything that comes to mind, related to the brand, the video, and your ideas for the project. This is a text-based version of a mood board, which helps you quickly come up with the concept, shots, scenes, acts, and a variety of visuals for the future video. Look at the solid foundation we've built. Now let's add the final touch and briefly outline the main idea for the upcoming video, as well as the technical process. Based on everything I've learned and considering the tight 5-day timeline, I decided the AD will focus on a simple idea: changing a habit and being part of a cleaner future by giving up plastic bottles. I personally live this way. I use a reusable water bottle and bags. It's a small effort, but I try to make my input to a cleaner future for the next generations. I hope you understand what I mean. This personal journey will be presented with a central composition, since we have a short runtime and I want to stick to simple solutions to avoid creating unnecessary cognitive load on the viewer's attention. One problem we face is automatic habits, things we do without thinking in everyday life. In each scene, the road or its equivalent will symbolize human life, leading the viewer to a stylish, simple, and elegant solution to the problem: refillable and recyclable bottled water, packaged in a sleek and sturdy aluminum container. Also, based on everything I've learned about the brand and its audience, I understand who I'll be speaking to. These are people leading active lifestyles, young, part of the new generation. Individuals who are ready to make a simple choice and change their daily habits to reduce the harmful impact of human activity on nature and climate change. Let me lock in the style once again, as this will be useful for creating prompts and guiding the next steps in the process. We've already gone through some of them together. Next, we'll focus on creating the storyboard by generating images in Midjourney, then turn those into a video using Runway. After that, we'll do the editing and graphics in After Effects, sound design in Premiere Pro, add the final touches, and we're all set. Now we can focus on creating the visual assets for the upcoming video. I encourage everyone to do the groundwork first, rather than jumping straight into generating images or video. This way, we can free up all our attention and energy for the creative process. It also ensures a balanced approach between your personal vision and the brand's universe, while building trust and understanding between the content creator and the client. Time for the first shot: exposition for the intro. I've decided the setting will be New York, so I'll use Midjourney to generate the first compositional images and gradually refine the style and concept. I need a wide shot of the city, early morning just before dawn, capturing the atmosphere of the big city waking up. Speaking of the technical aspects, I used images from the mood board as style references in Midjourney. This is a common practice to ensure consistency and keep everything within the same narrative style. Once I have the right image, I head to Photoshop to fix various imperfections that came out raw from Midjourney. Blurred edges and inaccuracies can significantly affect the final result when generating video based on an image. Also, when working on an AD, it's important to integrate brand elements into the environment. This is about working with human attention. According to the psychology of human behavior, we need at least 3 interactions with a brand or product before we take any action. In our 30-second format, it's all about placing accents for quick, intuitive thinking. By the time we present the solution, the audience will already recognize the product and the brand. From a technical standpoint, I've been using Generative Fill and Expand a lot recently. It's an amazing tool powered by Adobe's Firefly model that saves a ton of time by generating needed parts of an image on the fly. Right from the start, I use the brand's colors and adjust the image to match them. And from the first seconds, I set the color scheme for the entire video. I love to generate the first rough drafts of the video from the created image right away, even if it's a bit against the usual workflow. It gives a nice boost of motivation and energizes me to continue building the storyboard. Just take a look at these amazing results, especially how the sunrise creates realistic contours on the path elements we've integrated. From a technical standpoint, once the video is generated, I upscale all the materials to 4K and 30 frames per second using Topaz Video AI, even if I'm working in full HD. I also often use frame interpolation and slow the video down by half to have more flexibility during editing. Additionally, Runway Gen-3 now allows extending output files up to 40 seconds, which opens up amazing possibilities for creating seamless scenes without cuts. Take a look at the final processed version of the first shot. The result and potential are impressive. Next, we'll continue working on generating the storyboard and all the images according to the workflow. Continuing the storyline for the second shot, I decided to show a walk through a park in New York City just after sunrise. Generative AI gives us the ability to create exactly what we need. I considered the sun's position, similar buildings from the first shot, the same season, and other small details. It's a perfect day, everything is going smoothly until a problem appears. Reality starts to break down a little. I wanted to add a subtle glitch effect. Everything seems fine, but something is off. So I settled on a shot of the park where beautiful flowers bloom in the flower beds, but when you look closer, they're actually tiny plastic bottles. This carefully prepares the viewer's attention for the triggering event, wrapping up the scene. To enhance the effect, I used Generative Fill to place a few plastic bottles tossed near a trash bin right in the focus point. It's a situation we've all seen before, right? Adobe's Firefly model produces great realistic results with clean edges because it's trained on stock materials. I really like the direction this company is heading. We all need tools that allow us to have control over our work. The third shot is the turning point. Same city, same streets, and the same season. A bus stop. I chose it because I liked the idea, which Path often uses in their Instagram. It resonates with my concept. Here, the composition should clearly be split into two halves, symbolizing two different choices: the familiar and the new, leading to a cleaner future. A bus stop or train station is always a place between worlds. The past is already gone, and the future hasn't arrived yet. I couldn't generate the exact text here due to the limitations of generative AI, but as you've probably guessed, Photoshop will be our tool. We can create a small poster that introduces the brand without fully revealing it. The next shot is an underwater world with white sand, corals, and a path. I got it quickly. Midjourney never disappoints and handles long, complex prompts perfectly. I also took a photo of a path bottle that I liked. One quick swipe with Generative Expand, and it was ready. For the final part of the video, I also decided to generate a character, the only individual featured in the entire AD, to make it feel more alive and relatable. I want to try placing a girl in a wetsuit directly inside the bottle. This approach is often used by the brand and, much like a classic suit, it's always an effective, proven solution. I'm going to put together a visual storyboard from all the images and variations we've generated to get a clear view of the whole project before we dive into making the video. It's important to do this first, since video creation takes a lot of time and effort. You can already see how our video is starting to take form, even though we haven't started yet. Layer by layer, we're refining it, and generating the video is just one step in the process. The main point I want to make is this: what matters most is the planning before you hit the generate button. By working step by step, we avoid randomness in our process. We know exactly what we want and are sure we'll get it. And now, let's get started bringing everything we've created to life and see how Runway handles it. I decided to make the entire video as immersive as possible, without any visible cuts, to create the feeling of a first-person journey. Our dynamic 30-second runtime works well for this. Technically, I started the generation using the image-to-video mode. Then I applied an obvious but challenging technique. Using the first frame and last frame mode, I began creating full scene where our image is positioned in the center of a 20-second video. The first frame mode means the image will be the starting point, and Runway will generate a 10-second video clip from there. In last frame mode, the image will be the final frame in the 10-second video. This approach allowed me to create events in both directions over time. It's incredible. This scene is complete. A peaceful walk was interrupted by a massive plastic bag blocking the path. It acts as our trigger event, leading to the bus stop. The bus stop shot works as a transition, showing a moment of tension and chaos. I couldn't fully pull off the portal effect like I wanted. As I mentioned earlier, we still don't have full control over it. But sticking to our concept, there are plenty of ways to make it work. The bus stop starts moving, but the poster stays fixed, while the right side of the scene does its own thing. Leaving it like this is a bit of a bold choice. On one hand, I wanted to show the conflict of choices in that moment, but on the other hand, the unrealistic movement can break the immersive feel. Compositionally, we're held together by the path in the middle, so I decided to take the risk. I managed to create a bit of a paradox, and by keeping the poster still, we avoided text distortion since generative AI struggles with keeping text stable when there's a lot of motion. Next scene, I used the same parallax technique from the park to create a complete moment in the underwater world. From New York City, we head straight north in an FPV drone style, flying past Ice Canyon into the underwater world, showing what we need to save. This adds more depth to the story and brings out the meaning behind the poster at the bus stop. I tried a few different versions, and I've got to say, Runway does an amazing job with nature, especially water. This part of the video creates a space of calm and peace, leading us to the solution and the conscious choice to stop using single-use plastic bottles. The next shot features the path bottle. We rise from the pure depths, surrounded by corals, to the bottle gently wrapped in waves with purified water inside. Since I chose sparkling water, for the outro, I'll play with the theme of bubbles, like rising from the deep, with sea foam wrapping around the bottle. I wanted to create a video where there's some interaction with the bottle, but nothing too intense, to keep the large text untouched and stable, considering AI limitations. Then, I plan to apply slow motion, which will create an amazing shot that contrasts perfectly with the dynamic scenes leading up to this moment, enhancing the impact of its reveal. To finish up the video generation stage, we'll create an upward motion for the girl in the wetsuit, framed by the graphic silhouette of the bottle in the brand style. Starting with the underwater scene and our rise from the depths, I'm directing all the movement in the shot upwards. This will strengthen the resolution of the conflict and the feeling of uplift, creating a strong association with our bottle. Let's see how it all comes together in the next stage. After the basic edit, we'll finally be able to see how all our materials work together. I hope you're as curious as I am. Next, most of the workflow will take place in Adobe Soft. I'll be fixing typical issues that come up during generation, doing color correction, creating the outro with a call to action, and enhancing the video's immersion. Let's dive in. The first and biggest challenge I encountered was handling transitions within a single scene. The thing with generative models is that they can't produce the exact same result twice. I can use the same image, but the movement, color, lighting, and other parameters will be slightly different each time. This breaks the effect of smooth motion and prevents us from achieving a high-quality result. Well, the film industry has always faced different limitations and, like a professional magician, found ways to overcome them. I could use speed adjustments, video effects, and transparency tricks, but since this is a challenge, I decided not to add anything that wasn't generated by AI. The main way to solve this will be through precise color correction between shots and working with speed curves to create smooth speed ramp transitions. This will also give the video a dynamic rhythm in line with the Path brand. Working with the speed of the video clip also helps hide various AI imperfections, like in our shot with the bus stop, where the bus loses its form during the transition to the underwater world. To maintain the seamless effect until the end of the video, I had to figure out how to transition to the final scene with the bottle, place an accent on that moment, and keep the rhythm of the first-person journey. Since I'm not using any video effects or graphics, I decided to go with a proven technique, a match cut. I used this to transition from the underwater world through the logo onto the bottle, and from the realistic bottle to the graphic silhouette of the bottle. This way, we create a complete and logical journey. We'll travel from sunrise to sunset, passing through ice canyons and the underwater world, rising to the surface and straight into the Path bottle, completing a full day cycle where we made a conscious choice. Seeing the almost finished video for the first time, I decided to make some adjustments. I didn't like the effect the text on the poster was having. Within the context of our AD, it felt a bit too aggressive, which I wanted to avoid to keep the viewer's attention. I wanted the focus to stay on the final message, so I chose a more neutral text. Additionally, the poster design itself raised some questions. It didn't quite match the design style of the Path brand. This gave me the opportunity to make changes. I quickly went through the whole video creation process again, and, using a mask, easily integrated the updated version into our shot. The next step was working on the graphic part of the video. I needed to finalize the match cut and to make the outro more connected and smooth out the transition from the underwater world, I decided to use a silhouette technique within the graphic logo. This created a logical transition and introduced graphics into our immersive journey. I also added a simple upward motion animation to the logo to stay consistent with the rules I had established for our world. After that, I created a composition with text surrounding the bottle's silhouette and added a basic fade-in animation. This text will also serve as subtitles for the voiceover in the future, reinforcing our message. To add depth and variety, as well as to connect the scenes, I decided to generate motion graphics with water using Runway. I used it in the negative black space to soften the contrast between transitions and reinforce the concept of being inside the water bottle. Through this, I also created the transition to the final shot with the Path logo. The final touch in creating the video will be another round of color correction, which will unify all the visuals and ensure consistency with the brand's color palette. Our big stage of work in After Effects is complete. Let's take a look at the final result. The finish line is on the horizon. We're moving into Premiere Pro and I'll be focusing on sound design, creating the voiceover, and adding background music. I encourage everyone to pay close attention to the sound design of your videos. Don't forget that our eyes are just one of our senses, and with video, we can engage not only the visual aspect, but also the auditory. To achieve rich sound design and a realistic sound environment, I'll be layering sound step by step to tell the story we see. In reality, no event has just one sound. It's a combination of many layered sounds. How does the sound appear? How long does it last? What are its variations? You need to ask all these questions to properly select and fine-tune the sound effects. For the opening shot of my video, it's the sound of wind at a high altitude and the sounds of a city waking up. Cars, ambient noise, birds. Then we move into the park, where we hear the same birds, distant traffic, and footsteps while walking. I like to begin audio design by setting clear transition points. During this stage, I'll stick to natural classic sounds to keep the flow of our world consistent. I'll go into more detail on the trigger event. Before the plastic bag blocks the path, what will we hear? How will the bag fly in? What kind of plastic sound do we need? I decided to include several footstep sounds, followed by the sound of a plastic bottle dropping, subtly reminding us that we might be the person who mindlessly uses plastic bottles. After that, I created a set of sounds for the arrival of the plastic bag: wind, light rustling sounds, and the thud of the bag hitting the road and the surrounding environment. I followed the same logic as I moved forward, sound designing shot by shot, tying it all into one continuous story. To keep the believability effect, I never use the same sound twice without changes, because in the real world, every sound is unique. On the technical side, the plugin from Epidemic Sound, which you can see here, saves me a lot of time. Big thanks to Curios Refuge for the recommendation. I'll be using them forever now. Their library has incredibly high-quality sound effects that I can instantly bring into my project. I'd like to go into more detail on the final scene, where the path bottle appears. This part offers endless possibilities for trying out different ideas, especially using water sounds to enhance the key moment. I wanted to clearly separate the plastic world from metal, which can be easily recycled, so I chose the sound of an aluminum bat to make that point. I also fully started bringing the sparkling bubbles theme to life. For the final shots, I added the sound of water movement within the space, and continued building sound layers until I felt the scene was alive and balanced. Let's take a look at the result. Everything seems fine, but personally, I still don't quite believe it. There should be some kind of sound when the text appears on the screen. I think that's the missing piece. Then I heard it. The sounds of whales underwater. I looked at the text again and thought, why not? We can definitely say the sound effects are done. Now we can check out the final result, which looks great even without music or voice. Now, I'm going to work on the voice, which is just as important as the sound effects. The voice will help bring the viewer into the video's concept. I'll be using AI from 11 Labs to create it. They have a great variety of voices, and you can even design a custom one if needed. I'm looking for a voice that matches Path's audience and the idea of saving the future. I think a young female voice would be perfect, something that sounds strong and experienced, but also gentle and caring.
I've seen things you people would.
Later that same evening,
Once upon a time, an 11
Découvrez lors de
The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the
From the rise and fall of empire.
The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Every morning is the start of a new story. Every morning is the start of a new story.
Wow. I was surprised at how quickly I found a character that, in my personal opinion, felt right for the voiceover. After that, I worked through the narrative, shot by shot, scene by scene, adjusting the voice over several iterations to get the right emotions at the right moments.
Every morning is the start of a new story. Small steps and simple actions. We make choices without even thinking, but every moment is a chance to change the future.
Everything's ready, we can add the background music now. I quickly found the right track, and Epidemic Sound has a great option to download all the individual audio tracks and remix them however you need, which is exactly what I did. First, I added the finished track as a test to see if it matches the spirit of the brand and our video. My personal take is yes. It has a clear, dynamic rhythm that feels like being on a journey, with ethnic sounds and shamanic chants that connect to nature, along with classic instruments symbolizing the purity of the path.
Every morning is the start of a new story. Small steps and simple actions. We make choices without even thinking, but every moment is a chance to change the future. It's time to make a conscious choice. Freedom in every step, inspiration in every sip. Path, purified water in a sturdy, recyclable aluminum bottle. You're making a choice. It's your bottle, refill it. Learn more at drinkpath.com.
The next step is to carefully integrate all parts of the track into our rich sound design, gradually building up the dynamics toward the culmination, the appearance of the path bottle. Once the work was done, I moved on to the final stage, which is somewhat like color correction. Mixing. When all the components are ready, it's important to carefully balance the volume, enhance certain sounds if needed, adjust with an equalizer, and we're ready to hear our final video before moving on to rendering.
Every morning is the start of a new story. Small steps and simple actions. We make choices without even thinking, but every moment is a chance to change the future. It's time to make a conscious choice. Freedom in every step, inspiration in every sip. Path, purified water in a sturdy, recyclable aluminum bottle. You're making a choice. It's your bottle, refill it. Learn more at drinkpath.com.
The cinematic AI video advertisement for the Path brand is ready. It's been an exciting journey, and I want to thank everyone who watched the video till the end and found it valuable. I can definitely say that I achieved my goal and created a high-quality and, most importantly, functional AD. The potential of AI in this field is truly impressive. Once again, I'd like to give a special thanks to Curios Refuge for supporting this direction and giving me the opportunity to practice. Now let's take a look at the final result.
Every morning is the start of a new story. Small steps and simple actions. We make choices without even thinking, but every moment is a chance to change the future. It's time to make a conscious choice. Freedom in every step, inspiration in every sip. Path, purified water in a sturdy, recyclable aluminum bottle. You're making a choice. It's your bottle, refill it. Learn more at drinkpath.com.
I think the video turned out quite informative. Let me know your opinion in the comments. I'm doing this to help integrate AI as a tool for creativity and work. Your feedback is important to me and keeps me going. Also, check out my other workflows if you haven't seen them yet. See you soon.